Hi everyone, I'm Smarty, co-founder of Smarty Marketing. I have been in SEO for 20 years. This is our weekly live video event. With me, I have April today. She is our social media magic director. She is doing social media management, Reddit promotion. She is the one, our Reddit expert on our team as well. Every week, I publish a newsletter on LinkedIn as well on Tuesdays. So check it out. If you go to my LinkedIn profile and Smarty, and scroll down there, you will see Smarty Digest. This is my newsletter. It's also weekly, goes out on Tuesdays. Please subscribe. I try to make it very up to date with what is going on in search and AI worlds. It's either search marketing or SEO or AI tools. I make it interesting every week, so please do subscribe. Today's topic is very relevant to just about any website owner out there. We are going through a major Google algorithm. It is very content based. It's core algorithm, but the big news is that it also includes helpful content system and spam system as well. So we have a lot of going on these days. And I'm giving a little bit of introduction of what it looks like and why with what we think Google is focusing on with this update and what we're seeing in search results as well. We'll try to cover as much as we can. We're going through this together. It's still in the middle of the update, so we don't have all the answers, all the winners, all the losers. We don't have all the conclusions, but we know a little bit about it anyways. So from here, just a quick introduction on what the update looks like and what Google told us about this update. First of all, Google had told us several times before that a huge update is coming. So there will be a lot of changes in search results with this update. They also mentioned that 40% of low quality sites will be removed from search results. So that's huge as well. But let's get into the details. Like I said, it is mostly content based. So it's all about your on-site content to the most part. And the first thing is that it now includes helpful content system, which is, as we know, used to be a separate update. We had 2 of these updates so far, and we haven't seen a single recovery yet. So we have to theorize what Google wants because we don't have data yet. With helpful content, the big thing is that content should be targeting people, not search engines, whatever this means. Mostly we were thinking maybe that's over optimization signals when there are too many keywords. Maybe it's something else. But when you look at the page, you need to know which query targets. Yes, it's still important, but you need to think about search intent first. So what people are trying to accomplish by searching for something and finding your page. Does it give a good answer? Does it give a fast answer, like right away in the top screen of your page? Does it solve the problem of the search right away? So this is the most important thing about helpful content, as Google told us. I don't think that helpful content will be a separate update anymore because it's now part of core algorithm update. So anytime there is a core algorithm update, we need to assume that some of it tackles helpful content as well. Helpful content is page level. That's what Google tells us. But if Google finds too many unhelpful pages on your site, it could impact the whole site. So if you see rankings loss across the board, that's probably because most of your site was found unhelpful. The other important thing is that if you remove unhelpful articles or unhelpful pages from your site, that could remove that filter from your whole site, and other pages that are more helpful will rank better. What means unhelpful content if your whole site is penalized? How do you identify what is unhelpful? Is still kind of a bit of a mystery, but there have been some studies already that show that in most cases, it's the combination of 2 things. First is going too aggressive with monetization methods, especially if sticky ads, if ads do not allow you to consume content right away. You have to click it off. Sticky video ads that always follow you as you scroll the page. Those were big things with the penalized sites. So if you have too many ads, and especially if they prevent people from using your site or reading your content, the first thing is to clean those up. That could improve your rankings when you're out of the I don't want to call it a penalty, but that it is. It's automatic penalty, basically, helpful content. It's only penalizing, so it doesn't do any good. So if you've been impacted by helpful content or this core update, first look at your ads and how you monetize your site. I know this is a fine balance between making money and making pages user friendly, but if you lose traffic, then this is something you have to deal with. You need to get less aggressive with the ads. The other huge correlation with sites that were previously safe from helpful content updates was personal experience. Talking about your personal experience. We know Google loves personal experience. And we know that since 2022, when they started talking about product review updates, that you have to have first-hand experience with the products that you're reviewing. It's not just about making money from affiliate programs. You need to recommend products from your personal experience. You have to use them to review them on your site. So that was the first time Google started talking a lot about personal experience. Also, experience as an extra E was added to the Google's raters guidelines. We know those guidelines are not for search engines, not for the algorithm. Those are for people, but it still shows that Google wants to see what you did, how you did it, why you did it from the first-hand experience. So if you have to guess what may have gone wrong with your content, that could be it. That could be very generic, not mentioning you or your experience with the topic that you're describing. So changing your content strategy to highlight your or your team's experience with the topic may help you overcome this update. So this is for helpful. This is just part of that huge update that's going on. In my newsletter, I also shared some first studies as to who lost in that update, who won from those updates. And one big takeaway so far is that it looks like Google is trying to diversify results a lot. So it's not just only Amazon, only Wikipedia, only Reddit, only Instagram, only YouTube ranking, but also some less known, not as huge sites as well. So that is a good sign. Google has been warning us that they want to highlight hidden gems more in search results. So that might be the first step to them doing this. But again, it's too early to say because the update is still underway. They promise a lot of new sites being surfaced in search results. We will see. So far, so good. It looks like there will be a lot more diversification in search results, so fingers crossed. Now, the other part of this update, almost a separate part, is that they are targeting spam much more in this update. It's almost like a separate, so there's a core algorithm update going on, and simultaneously there is a separate update called spam update. In time for that update, Google also updated their spam policies. They added a few things there. And because of the timing, it is good reason to think this is what they are focusing in this update as well. And again, that's all mostly content-based. So they don't want scaled content. And this is the first time they mention AI-generated scaled content. They don't say all AI-generated content is bad, but they say if you scale your content strategy using AI and produce a lot of content that way, you will be penalized. So this is the first time Google mentions AI in their spam policies so directly. They used to not say anything about AI content, and now that we have this. If you create a lot of content using AI, you may be hit by the either manual penalty or algorithmic penalty going forward. So this is something important to keep in mind. expired domain section was also expanded in the policies. They say that if you buy an expired domain and you use it in a not good way, so it's not relevant content, it's mostly, they do mention most aggressive cases, so there is a hope, so not all expired domains are bad. They do understand that sometimes people buy domains for very authentic reasons, because they like it, because it's relevant to them. But if you do it to, for example, if you buy a school domain that is expired and place some gambling or medical advice on it, or something that make you something irrelevant and something not as trustworthy as it should be, then you will be affected by this spam update. So this is something to keep in mind as well. It's not mentioning other uses of expired domains, like 301 redirects to your site to make most of that link equity that that domain used to have. They do not mention that, but we know this is mentioned in their other policies for link building tactics as well. So it's not exactly spam, but it's something that Google is frowning upon as well. And finally, placing your content on trusted domain to make sure that it looks more trustworthy. We call it parasite SEO. Google doesn't use that term, but I think they call it reputation bait or something like that. Is also a spam tactic right now. It can also be penalized. And that is something that has been called out on many very trustworthy domains, including Forbes, I think. So if this is something you're doing, you can be impacted by this spam update as well. So this has been a little introduction to this update that's going right now. If you have any questions, please do post them in the comment section. For now, April, what do you think? Is there hope for us that, or for other sites with this update? I've seen a lot of sites impacted. Even one of my close friends has been impacted by this update. It's still too early to say. It can be fluctuating right now. Google did tell us to be patient while we're looking businesses going up and down, but we will see. We will see. What do you think, April?
Well, there is hope. There's always hope. I feel like overall a lot of the updates are based on trying to minimize unhelpful content, or like just not genuine content. Like everything's shifting to be more genuine and valuable and in line with EAT and all that. So in a way, like Craig in the comments mentioned how the ads, the sticky video ads are the bane of its existence. And I completely agree. Like I will instantly leave a website basically if there's a bunch of those, like if it's like in the way. So like one thing that I was thinking while we're talking about that is like, go to your website and try to interact with it as if you have no investment in it at all. Like just ask yourself, what things about this bother me? Like when you go to other websites, what things about that website bother you or make you want to leave? Just try to take an objective approach of like how you would a different website. Just
Yeah, and especially when you are doing this, try doing it both on desktop and mobile.
oh, absolutely.
Sometimes on desktop it's okay, there is a video following you when you scroll down, but if you try load that page on the mobile, it's just in front of you and you cannot get rid of it.
Right.
So try doing it on both and evaluate it, and maybe ask someone to do that for you and share feedback as well on
Mm-hmm.
what's bothering them when they are landing on that site, on your site as well.
Like an internet user, like you yourself are like your best resource in figuring out what about websites like will make someone leave or be less successful. Craig had another question that's really good. He said, I've also heard that if you use AI content and admit that you do, but don't specifically say which pages are using AI content, you will be penalized. Is that along the lines of what you've been learning about this?
So far, to be quite honest, I haven't seen AI content penalized algorithmically. We've seen a lot of manual penalties being sent to website owners that have been using AI content a lot. And either they admit it or not on their site. I know there was a screenshot on Twitter where people were very honest and transparent, saying some of our content may be AI generated, and that site has been hit by that
Mm-hmm.
update, by the manual penalty. And then there were many questions. What if you do not admit it? What if you do not have that policy on your site saying, hey, we may be using, but looks like any Google uses its own algorithm that doesn't rely on us disclaiming whether we use
Yeah. Probably.
again, so far with spam update, we've only seen manual penalties going live. I don't think, maybe I haven't been researching it very far, but so far it has been manual penalties being sent. And also there were theories why Google started with manual penalties instead of just algorithmically penalizing those websites. There are theories that my real theory is that manual penalties get attention. This is
Mm-hmm.
a huge PR move from Google because people start talking about manual penalties much more than algorithmic penalties. When they have that notification saying you've been spamming, that is something they go out and share on Twitter, on Facebook, so it gets attention a lot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even know if there will be any algorithmic spam filtering at this point, but we've seen a lot of manual penalties so far.
Mm-hmm. Like, what would you, in your experience, do you think that like manual penalties versus algorithmic penalties are like which is more difficult to like pull yourself out of?
Algorithmic penalties for sure are much
Mm-hmm.
more difficult. First of all, because there are two updates going live simultaneously. And what if you get hit? If it's helpful content or if it's spam, we
Right.
cannot be sure unless we really were spamming. Then we know that's probably spam. uh,
Yeah.
the other reason is that when you're hit with a manual penalty, you have a way to appeal back to Google saying,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I removed all the spam, now I'm all clean, please get me back into the index. With algorithmic penalty, there is no such a way. So you can work on your site, but you will never know when that can be lifted. In most cases, that can be lifted only with the next update. So you have to wait to the next update to know whether you did everything right or wrong, if there is anything else you should be doing. And there are like not clear answers as well. So definitely manual penalties in that way are easier to get rid of. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I reached out to a couple of sites that were hit with manual penalties. Some of them already sent their reconsideration request, but no one heard back anything. So at this point, I really don't know how much it could take to hear back from Google on those requests to get back into the index. So we will see.
Mm-hmm. Right. I noticed on the list of like the losers and some of the winners of the rankings that I think you said Cyrus Shepherd posted.
There was Lily Ray.
Oh, Lily, right. Okay, right. So a lot of the ones that were like lost rankings, they have like really authoritative top level domains. And you mentioned how like hidden gem websites, this is like their time to shine now, that they can rise up because maybe the domain names are going to become less important. What do you recommend like those small websites like to take advantage of this opportunity? Like, what do you recommend they do to like start rising up?
Yes, I did have a lot of hope from that research that Lily Ray did. I think
Mhm,
one of biggest takeaways there that there were many much more sites, bigger sites lost a lot, but
mhm.
smaller sites gained a little. So there was
Yes, I saw that. It was
yes,
interesting.
that was the disconnect, which makes us think that Google is trying to diversify search results more. So they uh, uh, downgraded some of the sites that were all over search engine results. And there were even, if you see, there are some ranking platforms that anytime Wikipedia ranked number one or number two, they would mark that ranking position as impossible. Like there is no way to
Mm,
outrank Wikipedia. So maybe this is changing right now, and this is a good move. But it's too early to say because I think that they told us that this update was rolling out for more than a month. and we've seen just probably 2 weeks of it at this point, a little bit more than 2 weeks. So it's probably too early to say, but there is already hope. I think we will do another live video when this is done rolling out, so that
Right.
we have more research and conclusions to base our hopes on. But to if at this point, if you've been creating helpful content, and I'm saying this loosely, but if you find yourself your content helpful, that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at search query and you're trying to say, hey, if I were searching this, what would I hope to find? What the quick solution or the quick answer, how to make it more obvious using my page layout, how to highlight the most, like the takeaways or the steps or anything that would help people to solve that problem or answer that question. At this point, if you've been doing that, chances are you will see some gains from this update.
Mm-hmm.
At least there is a hope. If you haven't been doing this, this is a good reminder for you to start revamping your content. It's not just updating the date, which is also Google is frowning upon, but actually updating your content with something helpful that could, even if it's a visualization of steps, or if it's a list of takeaways, an FAQ, anything that could be helpful for each particular query that you're targeting. That is a good reason for you to start doing this right now. It might be too late for this update
Mm-hmm.
because it's already rolling out based on whatever data Google has collected so far. But start now, then you will probably be surfaced during the next update. So change your strategy, your content strategy, to focus on being helpful, being authentic, and telling about your experience with anything that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Craig actually quoted you in the comments. If I were searching this, what would I hope to find? Which is a great question to ask if you're wondering if you have helpful content. So that's a really helpful thing. You like,
Especially if you're seeing, I've been looking at a few food bloggers that
mm-hmm.
lost visibility during the previous helpful content. That was September, I think. And they lost, they were not hit site-wide, mostly because they are very authentic people. They're talking about what they are
Mm-hmm.
doing, but many of them lost their biggest rankings on some of the pages. So anytime I'm seeing this, I search for that query and try to see how other sites are doing a better job of giving a better answer to each particular query. It could be a highlight, it could be a video, it could be quick answer to the question first, and then going down to more detail so that people could get that answer as soon as they land on the page. It could be those jump to links, like with the recipes, they tell a poem before they go down to.
Oh, right, yeah.
So if you are doing this, if there's a good reason, for example, some of them were talking about why they even doing this recipe, or which occasion it is best for, how they came up with this idea. It could be useful content, but give an ability to people to jump right to the recipe.
Right. I mean, I get frustrated when I had to scroll past
Yeah.
all this stuff.
So a very obvious step, click here to go to the recipe, for example, that could be helpful as well. So
Yeah.
just spend some time searching for your target keyword, and also looking at competitors as well, and seeing if they're doing a better job answering that query and matching that search intent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We have another question here. Do you think Google will put more resources into customer service, and that they will become more responsive and transparent about helping websites get their websites unpenalized and re-indexed?
One can hope. I don't think that they will go that route, especially looking at them saving money even for human raters. We know that they stopped working with about 30% of their human raters, and we all think it is because they want to save budgets. So in creating a customer service would mean a lot of investment as well. And I really don't think they're at the point when they can spend more money, because they are
Right.
struggling with everything that's going on with AI, with the
Mm-hmm.
diversification of how people find brands and answers as well. So I don't believe so. I would really hope to see that happen, but that I'm not as optimistic, at least in this aspect.
It's kind of ironic that they want websites to be like human focused, but they're cutting back on like their human resources. So
Has been ironic for many years. In that,
yeah,
like, yeah, they do have, if you are investing in ads, they have some customer support there, so you can find help there, but not organic search for sure.
yeah. I guess overall, like the moral of the story is your website helpful to real people? Like that's the ultimate question, and it's a lot more
But there will be a lot of what is called color damage to sites that are really good. There will be
right,
with every update that happens. So if you think that your content is great, you were not spamming Google at all, you were all authentic. Because I even saw a few really good food bloggers being very hard impacted by the previous helpful content update. We hope that this update will fix it, but we never know until it's done. So far there is no positive action for those sites,
mm,
but so there will be some damage to very good blogs, which is unfortunate. With every update there is some damage to sites that do not deserve it,
yeah,
but still evaluate, try to become better. That's the only advice that we can give at this point. Try to do your best.
yeah. What advice would you give to those websites that feel like they're doing everything right, but they still get penalized? Is that just the way it goes?
Search Google and see what other
Yeah,
sites are doing differently. I think that is
right,
the first step to get some inspiration and see. I mean, I can think my site is the best in the world, but unless I go out of the box and try to compare it to other sites that and other pages that are ranking for search queries that I would like to be ranking, I would never know. So
right,
chances are other people are doing it better. Um, so
right.
try to be as objective as you can and search Google and see what other sites are doing that you are not.
Definitely. And I mean, even just like sending your website to somebody who doesn't know anything about SEO, like, hey, what do you think? Like, what what do you struggle with on my website? What do you like on my website? Just getting input from real users would be helpful too.
Exactly, exactly. So I mean, unfortunately, we are at the point when we don't have straightforward answers.
Right.
We used to have penguin panda updates that seemed to be terrible, but now we miss them
Yeah.
because they were so straightforward in what Google is targeting and what it wants us to do. At this point, helpful content is such a vague concept.
Right.
We all think that our content may be helpful, even AI content may be helpful. So trying to at least compare your site with your competitors is some first step to trying and get some ideas. Also, keep an eye on SEO studies. They do have some answers, at least some theories to start working on and trying to implement as well. This is a good reason to subscribe to my newsletter because I do cover all those studies there, and whenever there is a new one, I try to uh, add my points, my experience with everything as well. So it's a good way to keep up to date with everything that's going on.
I definitely learn a lot from your newsletters.
Thank you.
but
Thank you so much.
would you say that's like this is one of like the most complicated and vague and just tricky algorithm updates that there's been that you in your experience?
We will see. I do hope that will be a positive update instead
Mhm.
of just penalizing update. And we talked about that a lot in SEO community. Google penalizes in bulk when there is a huge problem in search results, but they cannot go on doing this forever.
Mhm.
So they fix their algorithm to implement all the findings that they had during those major updates, and then they're kind of milder with everything that they are doing. This update doesn't look like it's going to be mild, but I do hope that we will see more diverse results in search results. At least that will be a good outcome of that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, do we have any more questions?
I think I think we are good at this point.
Mhm.
Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. I think that we are at a point that from next week we will promote these events more because we are getting more consistently good results with how we are doing this. So we have our format. Again, please come to our live videos every week, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and subscribe to my newsletter to get updated on everything that's going on in search and AI world. April, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me today again and for great questions as well. And I will see you next week.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.